what happens when the color green and the color brown that could represent wood comes together? You're wondering what I'm talking about? Then let's put it this way, that what happens when you try to get children as close to nature as possible? Yes, if you're thinking what I'm coming to, then you've got it right. We are here to talk about the Greenwood High School in Bangalore, and I am at architect Sudhakar Pai's office, Sudhakar Pai Associates, and he's the principal architect with me here. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm very excited to discuss this innovative project with you today.
Thank you, Shriyal.
So I'll jump straight into my questions. Now you all would know why I started off with what happens when green and wood comes together. So please tell us, Architect Sudhakar, that what was the brief of this project and what led it to look the way it looks today?
Sure. This project came to us way back around 2010, and there was this requirement to build a school which did wonders for kids, and this was what was there. The client was a good client of ours who was very passionate about education. He was wanting us to do the best school that we could think of, and something which was touching on international standards. He had acquired a school and he was continuing to nurture it, and he came to us saying is that we need to lay the foundation for the schools. Any school, the infrastructure lays the foundation for the children to grow well. So that was his brief to us.
The fact that you were designing a school over here, how did that influence your architectural approach while creating its design?
I think the essence for us was always that if children get to the school and if they had to study in a school, they should see the ownership of being in that school, and the school surroundings should give them something that will nurture them to grow. Being in Bangalore, you have wonderful climate, and it's something that is so rare. I mean, the kind of garden city that we are in. So the idea really came about that the school has to have courtyards, it has to have greenery. The name Greenwood itself lends to it immediately. So we were using the play of words of the name of the school to form a kind of a school which allows for direct connect with the nature. And that's how kids would grow. And when you have good light, good ventilation, the entire nature grows with you.
So the facade plays an important role in educational buildings. Of course, even the whole safety aspect comes in, considering it's being designed for children. So if you can tell us about, the design intent of facade in the school.
Absolutely true. I think there were two reasons for the facade. I mean, one was the architectural intent of how you deal with facade, but there was something else which also is very unique to Bangalore. I think a lot of parents, new parents and parents-to-be, they end up being in the software. And their aspirations are that the children should be in a school which is as good as anywhere in the world. And so the aspirational ideas of that school, when we grew up, I mean, content was so important. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the school which was there, but it was the teachers. But today the aspirational nature is content is important, but so is the school.
The aesthetics.
The aesthetics of the school. So we had to ensure that the aesthetics matched the aspirations of parents and what they wanted their kids to grow up in.
What drove your decision to use a Fundermax product on the facade?
No brainer. I was very clear that we would use wood as a factor in this school, and we were literally playing with the words of Greenwood, and we wanted it to be a young school. We wanted it to have international class. Way back in 2010, we were just about using wood. Fundermax came up with wooden shades in a panel, and we said we would use it because we had used Fundermax for ages, and we found that the Fundermax was something which was maintenance free. And for schools, it is really important that you don't have the kind of maintenance you could have in an office building. But for schools, it was important that we make sure that it's maintenance free, and it played its part. And we have no regrets on that.
When we talk about the performance and aesthetic needs, as you rightly mentioned, that today's schools are no more about just content. So how did this facade support that requirement of performance as well as aesthetic need?
The performance, I mean, aesthetic, it was clear that it needed to replicate wood. Any other form, I mean, I would have a lot of maintenance to touch upon. So this is a panel which basically does not fade, and I was given very clear performance understanding on it. So it was something that we thought was good. In many ways, I mean, it was the performance as well as the maintenance that was the reason why it came up.
I think this application spans 131 square meter, the facade that we've taken from Fundermax. How did the material integrate with the design elements of the facade structurally and visually?
Visually, we played a different role in Fundermax this time. We played it along with other materials, and so it was something which came along with concrete, which came along with a finish of concrete, a finish of wood, a white aesthetic thing. So we played on these three colors essentially to work with it. So the wood was an important warmth element, because just having it in having a concrete surface can start looking cold. So we wanted that warmth, we wanted the white, and so these three elements came together, became the palette for us. So Fundermax, if it was not there, we had a major problem. How do you get the wood back in with a maintenance content? So that was the intent.
Right. Also, I think it's an educational building. So like I mentioned, ease of maintenance is important, safety is important, and also the weather resistance is important. So did Fundermax products help in, addressing these concerns that we would have with an educational building, and how?
I think it did. I mean, I have no hesitation in saying it did. It's been there for more than now 10 years, the school. It's performed well. It has all the performance criteria that's matched. It's been there more from an aesthetic perspective, not so much from other perspectives. We have grown a lot of trees around the building, and just being G+2, I mean, a lot of shading which has to happen was also taken care of. The building aesthetics also came from our intent that most of the classrooms were facing east or west. Now, in east or west, I mean, we needed to shade the classes from glare, which comes at a low angle, if it does. It doesn't come from a top angle, like which in the east or the west. So we had to have solar shading, which was on the vertical thing. So we had these kind of vertical fins, which took care of the solar shading. So all of that aesthetically, it all came together to form a intent of facade for us.
Looking at a macro picture, when we talk about educational institutions, what are your thoughts on the roles, materials like Fundermax can play in shaping the future of educational architecture in India?
I think it's big. It's big, especially in educational architecture. It has multiple possibilities. I mean, you have various architects now using Fundermax and using the HPL panels they have in multiple ways to create I would say, a facade or a place which is maintenance free, but it could also be now lively. So the color fasten nature of it allows the architects to breathe different colors and to bring in a lot more of warmth and color into the play schools. So that's good. That's really good.
I think, there was a point where personally I began to call educational setups like a concrete jungle where children went and studied, and cut to what you and I are discussing today, a school where we used probably materials to bring in the feel of nature. So if you had to, again, describe your association with Fundermax, keeping this experience of this project in mind, in a word or in a sentence, what would it be?
Uh, I mean, again, I just feel that there's one word which comes across, and that is trust. Whatever little I know of Fundermax, and however long we have had an association, there has been that underlying trust, which is when we suggest that we use Fundermax. I mean, it's not just the panels that we are looking at, it's the entire ecosystem which comes with it. The ecosystem which comes with helping us with the design, which helping us with their understanding of what is contemporary and what we are looking for. And the team essentially helps us solve the problem. And I think that builds that trust. And so that trustworthiness is, I think, a key word for me when it comes to Fundermax. That's something which is valuable.
I'll just take one more question here, which I think is important to highlight here, the location of the project, and why was the whole nature theme also fitting in considering its surroundings? If you can just tell us a little more about that.
This school is very special. The location is next to a Banerkata National Forest and just on the outskirts of the National Forest. It is unique. It has fantastic weather because of the microclimate around that forest. It was important for us to get that feel into the school. And even today, after 10 years, I go and I have to give a lot of credit to the management of the school, which keeps it in a very pristine shape. And that's something which is also something which I value a lot. So whenever we go there, I mean, it doesn't feel like a school, it feels like a resort. I think you should go there, Cheryl. It really feels like one resort. And I think it's important for us to keep that into account. So Fundermax did play a good role in that because, I mean, they gave us the ability for it to gel with the environment around and to have the wood, integrate with the building and the outside. That was there.
See, on that note, looking at the generation that we are in today, we are welcoming today, which child would not like to go to a resort type school if given the opportunity to?
I wish I was young again.
Yes, I wish that too. But having said that, thank you so much. And I think the new generations are gifted. I think it's a responsibility that architects like you have taken upon to keep them closer to nature and give them the kind of quality that they deserve in a school environment where they spend at least half of their day. So thank you so much for that. And I think it's been a great project that we have for us today. A great school, but we will see you soon with our next project. Thank you.